Everyone, and it's time once again for Ball Cap Bible Study. My name is Wade Cruz. I'm the pastor for senior adults at Quail Springs Baptist Church. Today is the first Monday in November. Here we are. Man, only 2 more months left in this year. I hope you're gearing up. I hope you're ready. November 3rd. Wow. We're going to keep going through Acts. We're going to make these hopefully interesting for you. Today, we're going to talk about a little more obscure person in the Bible, not an apostle, not a martyr, but a regular guy, a regular person. Maybe that's you. Maybe you look in the mirror and you think, I'm not, I don't work for a church. I'm not in ministry. I just try to do what I can. I'm just steady Eddie. Well, that's really who we're talking to and who the Bible is for. It's for the everyday person, because God gives abilities and gifts and talents to all believers. And what is a believer supposed to do with them? Well, respond. Last night I was giving a presentation to a group of leaders at church, and I ended with, our job is not to question God's timing. Our job is to be ready when he moves. So, that's kind of the question today is, are you ready? Are you that person? Are you saying, hey, God, the answer is yes, just let me know what the question is? So today we're rocking the little Hornet hat. We're on the front porch of a lake or a cabin by the lake out in the woods. And so we're having a good time. We're going with the old school Star Wars cup. If you're like me, you saw it when it first came out in the 70s. Okay, we're talking about this person named Cornelius. I want to describe Cornelius in a few words. Cornelius, one, he is a centurion. He works for the government. I was that guy. I worked for the government. A lot of Grateful's family works for or used to work for the Department of Defense. My brother-in-law works for the Department of Defense after retiring as a Marine. This is a guy named Cornelius, and he was a centurion, is a centurion in this narrative. And so maybe that's you. Maybe you work or have worked for, a government agency or, a school or some secular state entity. Rachel's been a teacher. She's worked for DHS, I mean, Department of Human Services. So, we all, my dad used to joke when he was the only one that really paid taxes. He paid all our salaries. And there's some truth to that. But Cornelius, just so you know, he's a centurion. So he's not just a grunt down in the ditches. He's not digging foxholes. He's inspecting the foxholes. So he's a leader as well. But maybe that's you. Maybe you're a leader in a secular state, federal, city, government, or corporate world. And what are we supposed to do if that's us? We're not supposed to hide. We're not supposed to keep it a secret. But at the same time, you know, our walk, the way we carry ourselves, should be, obvious. We're not necessarily going around with a Bible and evangelizing on the clock, but we evangelize by our walk. We witness. Our testimony is how we behave and how we respond to what God would have us do to situations. Well, let's see what old Cornelius does. Um, so it says, now there was a man at Caesarea named Cornelius, a centurion of what was called the Italian cohort. That's a special group. Um, kind of special forces, maybe. I don't know. A devout man. I need to look that up. I should have done better by you guys. I'll look up what the Italian cohort was. I kind of remember I've studied it before, but I forgot. A devout man and one who feared God. Key phrases. A devout man. Maybe you're a devout woman, and do we fear God? Are we more concerned about disappointing God or about our careers or our disappointing people or whatever? A devout man and one who feared God with all his household. So he's also the spiritual leader in his house. He's a centurion. He's a leader in his work. Maybe that's you. Maybe you've got people under you, or you uh, train or influence or do whatever for people. But what about is your home known as the Christian home, the godly person that we are in private? Are we that same way in public? Okay. And he gave many alms, or so he paid money or tithes to Jewish people and prayed to God continually. Okay, are you a person of prayer? So this is you're about to see, this is the kind of person God uses, a devout person who fears God, leads his household, is doing that, has a heart, even as a Roman centurion, for God. And so about the ninth hour of the day, he clearly saw in a vision an angel of God who had just come in and said to him, Cornelius. Has God ever gotten your attention? I bet everybody would raise their hand if I said, has God ever asked you something to do, to do something? Has God ever asked you to do something and then you regret it? And then you don't answer, or you tell God no, or by your non-action, you answer. And fixing his gaze on him and being much alarmed, he said, what is it, Lord? So he knew, this is capital L, Yahweh. He knew what time it was. And he said to him, your prayers and alms have ascended as a memorial before God. Now dispatch some men to Joppa and send for a man named Simon, who is also called Peter. Okay, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. You're going to go escort one of the apostles. I mean, he's going to write several books of the Bible. We may not know that initially, but my goodness, how do you tell God no? And not only that, there's a little bit of a risk here. Are we willing to obey God rather than man, regardless of the consequences? Uh, you know, what if he gets asked by his legionnaire, "Hey, what are you doing, hauling this Jew down to Caesarea? What's the deal?" So anyway, um, long story short, are you a Cornelius? Am I even a Cornelius? I mean, look at what he is. He's faithful, he's giving, he's trusting the Lord, he's leading his household, he's walking a witness to his men, to his people. You know, who who do you have under you, or who do you have in your influence? Maybe you're a grandparent, and you've got those grandkids, huge influence there. Maybe you're still working and you've got people that look to you for direction and guidance and that kind of thing. Uh, are you sitting, trying to listen for the voice of God? That's the thing. So be a Cornelius today. Get out there, and I would say, it caught Cornelius off guard a little bit, but it's there for us so we can be ready. We won't be shocked and surprised when God calls us. Remember, it's not our job to question God's timing. It's our job to be ready when he moves. All right. Question is, are you ready? Talk to you later. See you next week.